Take you around Dog Nation in 90 seconds. This is DN90. Hello, everybody. I'm Brandon Adams. And if you look back on the first round of this year's NFL draft, the majority of the players drafted were former elite recruits coming out of high school. 8 were former 5-star prospects. 10 were former 4-stars. However, that doesn't mean that the recruiting services got every single one of its selections right in years past. One of the misses may have been former Georgia cornerback Deandre Baker, who was taken number 30 overall by the New York Giants. A good story this week from Tennessee coach Jeremy Pruitt, who at the time of Baker's recruitment was the Georgia defensive coordinator. Pruitt goes on the Eric Ainge radio program in Knoxville and relays just how it was, if Pruitt's telling the truth here, that Baker ended up in a Georgia uniform. This is actually pretty fascinating. Here is Jeremy Pruitt from the Eric Ainge Show.
Something that's interesting about Deandre Baker, and I didn't coach him his last 3 years, but he was in a line of about 100 defensive backs, and he came to one session of a camp. I pulled him over to the side and asked him his name. I had never even watched tape on the guy. I didn't know who he was, but I knew right then he had a skill set, and I asked him how old he was. He was 16 at the time. I said, "How many offers you got?" He said, "0." I said, "Well, you got an offer from Georgia." He said, "Well, I commit."
There's a lot about that story to like. The fact that Baker commits on the spot is kind of charming in its own way. It's also semi-fascinating that as a 16-year-old, Baker would still not have any offers given how good he would turn out to be in a Georgia uniform. After all, he won the Jim Thorpe Award as the nation's top defensive back for 2018. But something else involving Pruitt here I also think is pretty fascinating too. In a day and age when a lot of coaches want to take credit for every player they've coached and every player from every program they used to work at, it's actually kind of nice that Pruitt says, listen, I didn't coach him for his last 3 years, but no Georgia fan would deny that Pruitt was instrumental in Baker's recruitment. And even though he's a rival coach now, there's probably a lot of Georgia fans who would say, thanks for getting us Deandre Baker at least. For more on stories like this, including the aftermath of the NFL draft, make sure you check out DogNation.com. We'll see you back here again tomorrow for DN90.